Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got the blank, which is great, but do I have a bingo? X and U suggest that I don't. Let me just consider this. Just mentally running through the alphabet for the blank. Nothing has come to mind, so how to sort this rack out? I'd like to split up I and U. Well, why not just play zoo? This is very unhelpful for opponent, and the blank gives me a lot of flexibility. Zoo for 18. Gosh, what a poor pickup. Duplicate O and a Q. Fortunately, I have the I for Chi, and at the moment Chi does play under zoo. There's also the U available. Now, opponent takes out my Chi spot and the U. Gosh, well, tricky situation. Bent. Well, does bent take an O? I think it's O bento. So no, it doesn't. I think this rack is too good for changing. I can play cool for 24, retaining the I, sorting the rack out. This double word square isn't particularly dangerous. Yeah, I am going with this. And another, well, non-bingo-y-ish. I would have quidney through a D or a U. Oh, wow, fantastic bingo for opponent. D not available for quidney. 83 points, so I trail. Is there finally some way of... Well, there is. I have cheese, I have caddies and cades. No way to get rid of the Y as well. But I think the Q is the priority. I also have sank. Well, what about playing just cheese? If I play chins, I'm putting the Q next to a double word square. And the N is a useful tile. Am I missing somewhere hot? I don't think so. I'm going with this. Now, surely I must be close to a bingo. I have Darnley with the blank as an R. Not seeing anywhere for that. Nothing goes in front of Plex. I don't have anything through the Q. Don't have anything through the Q. Now, opponent does provide new floaters. I also have adenils, which also doesn't play. Do I have anything with the V? I've got the LY ending. Not seeing anything. The C does look pretty useful. I have lycenid. Wow. That stops one square short of a double word square. Does lycenid take an S? I think there's only about 8 words ending in enid. And I think they all don't take an S apart from one. But I can't remember what that one is. So, any alternative to lycenid? 16 minutes on my clock. Anything beginning with NU? No. Any other double lanes? Well, not a double, but I could have a play through the R. I think I've spent enough time on this play. I'm going to get this down. Lycenid for 78. And I draw 2 U's, which isn't great. However, Umu is good and Guru is good. I don't think I can use the U's with the Q to good effect. Wow, opponent with both V's, but scores more than 30 points with each of them. So I still trail by 22 points. Now, I was looking for Umu spots or Guru spots. I have Vum in column 3, Guru and Nug for a very lowly score, but keeping AME. Wow, tricky rack. I'm fairly confident there isn't a bingo here. I have Aurum on my rack, which does play either side of the D of Lycenid. 20 points, providing access to row O, but sorting the rack out. Is that the play? "14 minutes on my clock, 53 tiles to come." So this is what I'm thinking of, getting rid of both U's. Wow, if I could play Umu, my rack leave of Rage would be pretty good. Have I properly considered every possibility for that? I think I have, and it doesn't go. Okay, I am going with Aurum. And what a rack. This is the reason why you try and clear out all the deck, to increase your chances of getting a bingo-y rack. Now, I haven't seen one, but this looks jolly close. I would have Georgix through a G and a couple of anagrams. Anything through the V? Not that I can see. How about the H? No. A. Well, 30 points. Could have been worse. So I'm looking for bingos. I trail by 30. Do I have a bingo through the A? Not that I can see. How about the R? No. R is repeated. U? No. Okay. And how about the O? I would have groceries through E and R. So I'm considering the O. I'm not seeing anything. I've got DA. I've got the over prefix with 6, not seeing anything. What about the L? No, wow, well, I could be missing something here, but I'm not seeing it. What I could do is play Geo here. IO takes N and S after it, and I've got an S. I do trail, so it's good to create a new lane, and this rack leave goes well with the floating A of peddlers. So is this the play? The score is fairly miserly. The rack leave is good, though, because it goes very well with the H and the O, and this is going to be a distraction. Opponent may play down from the top right, just a 3-letter play. There are 4 ends to come, but that's only going to be 20 or 30 points. Meanwhile, I could be bingoing. And look at this, there's a floating I, a floating A, a floating O, a floating U. It would be almost impossible not to bingo. I'm going with this. Wow, and I draw the second blank, and I probably didn't even need it because the rest of the rack is super good as well. So Where's the best lane? Let me just check Lycenid. And in particular, it's plural. And it is good. This is the one which is good. Good grief. So, this rack plus a U plus a blank. Wow. And with SU in this position. Yes. Oh no, I was thinking of causery. That is good, but it doesn't have S and U together. So I would have shore as a component part with ICE. Let me find an alternative bingo. Having eulogized this rack. Geo takes an A in front. Okay. Not seeing anything beginning with V and with A. So this is the spot I was considering. Do I have anything? I have Scry Eve. So that's my default play. Anagram of Service, which also plays. I'm not seeing anything beginning SN. But what about row L? I have the sub prefix, but not with anything. So this rack plus 10 minutes on my clock, this rack plus a U, that's causery. Decuries. Not seeing anything. This rack plus a U. Wow, that looks close to something. Recuiles. Doesn't have SU together. Sinecure. And does Sinecure have an anagram? Not sure. This rack plus a U. So that's the super prefix with ice. That's Eucrites. 8 minutes on my clock. No. Okay, so I think I will play down here, and I'll play Scribe rather than Service. What's going on here? Why isn't this playing the C? Let me put everything back. S, C, yep. This is working properly now. Ooh, E next to this triple letter square. F's to come, Z's to come. What's the third anagram of Service and Scry Eve? Eight minutes on my clock. It is worth not putting the E next to this triple letter square, so I'm now just looking for sevens. And in particular, ones which begin with S. Wow, I am spending a long time on this play. I wasn't expecting to. Scryini ends S, sincere, and Scryini and sincere both end in E, which I'm trying to avoid. Ceresis begins with C. That's the service rack. Okay, what about a play ending or beginning with H? Cheesier has H in the middle. I could have a play ending ISH. Nothing's coming to mind. Let me quickly do a squiz. This rack plus an H. And then I'm going to play the service rack. So that's scry. That's nothing. This rack plus an H. That was cheesier. No, not seeing anything. Of course, I may draw the Z myself. Creepish, I don't think is good. Heretics. Yep, I'll go with that. Heretics for 86. Wow, I think it was worth taking that time. Opponent may have the Z, they may not, but if they do, I could have been handing opponent a 100-point play if he had a 5-letter Z play, and there are plenty of those. Whereas Heretics has provided pretty much nothing. 36 for opponent. Now, how can I play off my J? Oh, wow, I have a super J spot at the top here. Gin. If I had a second N, I could play that as well, but this is Gin for 45. And another balanced rack with 3 scoring tiles. 20 tiles in the bag, only 5 minutes on the clock, and my lead just a single bingo, and there are plenty of bingo lanes on this board. Scribe or service would have had the merit of taking out this spot where opponent played Dord. Anyway, I think it would be very hard to resolve those arguments even with simulation, because the moves are so different. Now, oh wow, opponent does bingo. So we're super close, just 4 points, but I'm on turn, so I have the tempo. I've got scoring tiles. I would have prefab through an A. I have brief in column 15. Do I have a play which plays off 2 of my scoring tiles and gets one of them doubled? I have beef. Let me check the remaining vowels. 8 out of 20, that's balanced. So, oh, I have feed, which is even better. 39 points, and this is a pretty decent rack lead. Goes well with any vowel, and even has bingo potential and retains scoring potential with the P. Not good, but not terrible. I do draw another vowel. When you're short on vowels, every extra one really helps, up to 3. And I have 2. Now still there are bingo lanes on the board, but there are quite a few non-bingo-y tiles in the unseen pool, FHK, WYZ. So what am I going to do? 10 tiles in the bag, 4 minutes on my clock. I have print on my rack with IR. That doesn't suggest a bingo. Wow, 37 points for opponents. Zag is good, emo is good. Wow, that is a hot Z spot. And there's not very much I can do about it. Except play off a lot of tiles in the hope of drawing the Z myself. I do still lead, but only by 6 points. Just the solitary I vowel, well, 2 of them, but only one of them. Zit is also good. So what I could do is rip. 17 points, leaving a balanced rack leave, keeping a vowel. Not providing very much. Just wondering if I have something through AG. Not sure. Only 3 tiles, and I'm trying to draw the Z. Well, 3 minutes on my clock. 7 tiles in the bag. I am going with this. No Z. Okay, I have anti-war on my rack. Don't think there are any good 7-letter lanes. Not only takes an S. And, well, still no E for emo. If opponent hasn't got the Z, he may try and take that out, but that is the hotspot on the board. I currently lead by 23 points. That's going to flip over if opponent plays in that spot, but only 4 tiles in the bag. I wonder if this triple letter square is also a very hot Z spot. Well, no L's for Luz. No, I don't think there are any plays in that spot. Now, opponent's played at OH. 2 tiles in the bag. And 2 minutes on my clock. What about doing this? 14 points. Taking out that Z spot. And leaving 1 in the bag. I'm short on time, I'm going with this. Okay, so do I have a bingo through the V? I have Tsarina and Artisan on my rack. I have Artisan and Swag. Good grief. Will that stay available? So Variance doesn't play. Don't think it's got any anagrams. How about an I? What about Intarsia? Yes. So, yeah, I have unblockable bingos. Fantastic. Opponent plays Z for 37, 2 minutes, so I can relax. I trail, but that's not going to last for long. There are no tiles in the bag. They're all on opponent's rack, and I have Intarsia in row B for 70 points. Bang! And the final score, 412 for opponent, 478 for me, a winning margin of 66 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. Absolutely insane finish. So here we go. This is how it began, and it all started pretty promisingly with this blank on my rack. So yeah, Oxic available, that's quite nice. What do? I play Zoo. I prefer that, even though it's 8 fewer points. The C is a bingo-y tile, and Zoo is a lot harder for opponent to score off than Oxic, which amongst other things takes a T front hook. So opponent plays Bent. Now F4 cool, that was my play, and F10 cool, so Bent does take an O, which then in turn takes a front O for Obento. But cool is fine. Fantastic rack for opponent. Goes into the lead with Pedlars, and I have the Q and the Y to deal with. So A13, caddies. I thought about that. I didn't think it was significantly better than cheese. Caddies provide scoring potential with the Q and also with floaters. And the A and the D are bingo-y tiles. Opponent's rack. Plays Verge. And here we go. Oh, Adenilic, B2. Oh, through the I. Yep, that's the anagram of Lycenid, which I did see. Yeah, okay. That's disappointing. Benadryl through the R. Calendry. Gosh, so the floaters in Verge were pretty useful. What do? I do Lycenid for 78, 10 fewer points than Adenilic, and with this S hook, so not an optimal play. Opponent's rack. Plays Hove. And now I play Aurum for 20 to sort the rack out. Armior for 2 more points retains the U, so I like my play. Opponent plays Timeout, and I trail by half a bingo. Phew, no missed bingo here. But L4, oh, because of Lycinids. And I played Geo for 21. Yeah, I think the extra points mean that Sucre would have been better, although the rack leave is awful. And Geo, well, what am I keeping? I'm keeping CERS, which goes really well with the floating vowels, so I don't think Geo is massively behind. The rack leave after Sucre, GIO, is pretty horrible. Now, opponent with a lot of vowels plays Talar. And I have Heretics, which only took me about 15 minutes to find, but that was time very well worth spent because it scores the most and it offers very little to opponent. Now, opponent didn't have the Z, but if I had played Scrabble, opponent could have played Waddy, WADDI, for over 50 points. As it is, they were restricted to just 36. Now, I lead by 30 points. And I have Gin for 45, which was a stroke of good fortune. Now, things really hot up. Opponent has a bingo. And suddenly, there is just 4 points between us with 13 tiles in the bag. 0-11. Oh, wow, I didn't consider row O plays. I was just focused on column 15 ones. So, yeah, 15 points left on the table. And the vowel situation wasn't desperate, so it wasn't critical that I held on to a vowel. But I think Phoebe is still fine as a play. But Fibre probably better. Opponent's rack plays Mac. So plays Mac doesn't have the Z. My rack, J9, yeah, ripped underneath Talar. And instead I play Rip for 17. Possibly Ripped would have been better in the sense that it would have given me one extra shot at drawing the Z. However, that is now on opponent's rack with an E. J11, he's difficult to spot, but no something EZ plays. And what would those have been? Yes and Fez and Says and Res. Wow, so I dodged a bullet there. Opponent has two of the components of a 3-letter high-scoring Z play, but not the third. Plays OH. I have anti-war. Nowhere for it. 011. Oh, wow, that would have been nice. Nawab taking out the Z danger by converting Ag to Aga. I didn't consider that. So instead I played just the W. Oh wow, this is super fortunate. I played just the W and draw the S for a row K bingo. Now, opponent's rack plays Z, and I've drawn the S and I have an unblockable bingo at the top in Tarsia. So what would have happened if I hadn't had that bingo or hadn't spotted it? L4. I had the S for Lycinids. Shorat for 45. Well, very difficult to know because opponent is not going out in one with Fenty, but does have good scoring tiles in the F and the Y, so I think it would have been super close. But as it is, I did spot the bingo, and it was game over. So what a fantastic game. Absolutely amazing fun, super close, which really happened as a result of opponent's Isogon bingo, which had us absolutely eyeball to eyeball for the final few moves of the game. So super exciting stuff. Many thanks to opponent for a tremendous battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.